Who's stronger? Zoro or Sanji? Well, to answer that question I might have to answer first another question. Why do Sanji and Zoro fight a lot? It's because they are complete opposite of each other, not just in their opinions but also in their physical appearance. Oda has addressed this in one of his SBS question and answer manga segments. Zoro's hair is a mess. Sanji styles his hair. Probably use hair care products too. Zoro's sharp eyebrow. Sanji's curly eyebrow. Zoro old guy creepy smile. Sanji young prince smile. Zoro have Sharingan. Sanji have Geass. JK LOL. Zoro is a Chad. Sanji is a simp. Zoro can't go in a straight direction. Sanji is a straight guy, well, most of the time. JK. Zoro deals with problems head-on while taking the most logical solution. MBTI ISTP. Sanji is a creative problem solver who takes compassionate and emphatic solutions. MBTI ENFJ. There are a lot of differences between the two, but the most interesting contrast between the two is their occupation. In common fantasy tropes, the opposite of the swordsman could have been a brawler. The opposite of a cook would have been a glutton. But Oda made a conscious effort to make Zoro a swordsman who uses his blades to defeat his enemies, while Sanji is a cook who uses his blades to serve his allies. They are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, yet they still share a small common ground. They are both masters of their chosen blades. Again, this is no accident. Oda made a conscious effort to show that, no matter how much Zoro and Sanji seem to hate each other due to their differences, there is no doubt that they both respect each other. To further drive my point regarding their roles and personality, there is no better way to explain than to dissect the ever-so-famous Nothing Happens scene in the Thriller Bark arc. Kuma, another Shichibukai that is equally as strong if not stronger than Moria. Kuma offered to let everyone go if they surrendered Luffy's head, but every one of them refused. Since the Straw Hat were unwilling to surrender Luffy, Kuma launched a devastating attack. The explosion obliterates everything in the vicinity. Only Sanji and Zoro are left capable to move. In this fight against Kuma, Zoro and Sanji are both ready to die. It's just that Zoro beats Sanji to the punch. However, what makes this scene so iconic is the deeper meaning of the reasons why both of them are so willing to sacrifice themselves. Zoro thinks of the most logical solution to save the crew. He was supposed to be the first line of defense from the enemy, the vanguard. If he can't protect his friends, the only thing he was good at, then he might as well be an expendable swordsman. On the other hand, Sanji is always emotionally ready to sacrifice his dreams for those people dear to him. He is the support, able to fight in the front line and provide assistance behind the scene. But in his perspective, in the grand scheme of things, he was just a replaceable cook. Sanji thought that rather than approaching the situation from an emotional standpoint, maybe he can convince Zoro, a logical man with a logical argument. Maybe he said those words hoping for Zoro to catch on and read between the lines. That the way things are going right now, the Straw Hats need his superior swordsman strength more than his replaceable cooking skills. But Zoro instead made an emotional decision rather than a logical one. You see, Zoro was not an emotionally inclined person, unlike Sanji. Once Sanji said goodbye and instructed Zoro to explain what happened to the team. Zoro can't do that. Zoro can't explain shit. If he lets Sanji die in his place, the whole crew will be devastated. They might not be able to get back up from this emotional damage. This will be the end of their dreams. If there was anyone who can support the team in this dire time, it will be Sanji. Then after that, you know what happened. Zoro made the ultimate sacrifice, surviving with barely an inch of his life. When Sanji found Zoro standing in a pool of his own blood, he asked what happened. Zoro replied, "Nothing. Nothing happened." Because he can't explain it. And that's my take on the nothing happened scene. On a side note, this is why I think they are both vice captains. Zoro, the vice captain external, is a vanguard who deals with external threats. And Sanji, the internal vice captain, internally supports and protects the crew. So now we have established how different their roles are and how they deal with situations. We can finally answer. Who's stronger, Zoro or Sanji? In brute strength, Zoro wins. This was confirmed by Oda. But let me get one thing straight. Zoro and Sanji are still equal. The one solid proof of that is both of them were able to stop a Yonko-level threat using their own special methods. Zoro was able to stop Kaido with his brute strength. And Sanji was able to stop Big Mom by using his cooking. It just goes to show that even though Zoro is stronger in brute force, it does not make him more important than Sanji or any other member of the Straw Hat. It is because each of them provides skills that shine depending on the given situation. And besides, each Straw Hat members are important not because of how useful they are. They are important because they are family. I hope I explained my case well enough. Sanji and Zoro are the opposite of one another, but they share both deep bonds and respect with each other. I hope we all share this respect too. I'm tired of the Sanji versus Zoro debate, but sometimes I also enjoy reading about random strangers fighting on the internet too. So I guess keep it up. Thank you for watching the video, my friend. This is AI Majix. Bye.